Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to the Old Geezers show on Saturday, the 28th of January, 2023. Got some interesting stuff for you today, and today's menu includes something called Dignity Action Day, which I've never heard of before, but we've all heard of now, and we'll talk about that in a minute. We've got a look at a petition called Don't You Dare, which I think is really a worthwhile petition to sign up to. I'll show it later as well, but in the meantime, you can see it, a little bit of the detail now. We'll have a look at that soon. And finally, as promised yesterday, didn't happen. Sex, we're going to talk about sex. Not in a particularly prurient way, I don't think. At least I have. And we'll talk about sex anyway and talk about sex and older people. It's a conversation we ought to start having, and we'll start talking to people about it. Age UK have had some really worthwhile things to say about it. So my plan is to actually go into that and look at it properly, talk about it properly, and get stuff out in the open. We are old people. We're not mentally dead people. We're still alive and we're doing the best we can. Okay, so let's have a look at this one first. And here you go. Dignity Action Day. Dignity Action Day is on the 1st of February. And what it's about, really, it's an odd one. It's about giving people in care and their carers, I think, really, a bit more of a voice, but it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. It started apparently in 2006. But to be honest with you, we're looking at 16, 17 years later, and this is the first time I've heard of it, I have to say. I've only been really working quite closely on this project for 2 or 3 months, but I've never heard of it before in my research. So we're going to do a bit more with it if we can in the future, and we'll do a little bit more with it today. What it's about is actually about giving older people a bit more dignity when they're in care, and also perhaps giving carers and people associated with the care business a bit more of a voice. So let's have a look at it. There is something that they publish, which is 10 things that should be part of care, really. So it's kind of zero tolerance of abuse, support people with the same respect you would want for yourself or a member of your family, treat each person you deal with as an individual, and so on and so forth. There's a list of things, 10 things that they talk about promoting. And I think they're all worthwhile things to promote, but the reality is that we don't hear much about them. So I'd like to see a bit more about these people, and I will get in touch with them after the weekend and say, what are you doing, guys? What's really happening out there? And see whether we can engage, see whether we can engage a bit more with people who are looking after older people, and maybe with the older people themselves and with the carers themselves, and kind of get a bit more conversation going in that respect. There you go. So that's Dignity in Care and their Dignity Action Day for 2023. We'll do more on it. We'll try and come back to it on the day itself and see whether we can kind of go anywhere with it. I don't know whether we can or not. Okay, next on my little list, a question for you. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice this morning. If you want to get more involved in the Old Geezer show, I would love to hear from you. If you've got a phone, a tablet, a laptop, or a PC, you can take part in one of these live shows. We cover any topic of interest to older people, and I really want to hear from you. You can call us and leave a message or text us on 07769 518 440. We don't answer that phone directly, but you can leave a message and we'll come back to you. You can text us and we'll come back to you. Or you can email us at production@seriousledgers.co.uk, message us or comment us via Facebook or YouTube where we play these videos. So there you go. If you want to get involved, I'd just love to have you aboard. Anything that interests you, that you think will interest other older people, I'd love to hear about it. So just get in touch, drop me a line, give me a phone call, whatever you like. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget today as well, I'd love to hear from you if you're watching us online on Facebook or on YouTube. Give us a like, give us a love, subscribe, whatever you like. I'd love to hear from you again on that way. Okay, what have we got now? Well, here's one. Now, I don't know whether you've ever heard of this one, but he's the ex-health secretary, Sajid Javid, is it? And he was talking the other day, and he said that if you go and seek NHS help, i.e. A&E or whatever, without going to your GP first or without contacting your GP first, you should pay £20. The idea being obviously to raise some money from the NHS, but the idea also being to kind of select people out who really need to go and see someone, but who don't have any kind of backing on it, let's say. So in other words, if you say we've got to pay £20 to go to A&E, then people like most of us will go, oh, bugger, yeah, I have to then, if you haven't seen the doctor first. But in reality, what it means is that it's making our health service a payable service, which I think is honestly disgusting. It's not what we signed up to, let's say. And the reality, I think, is that, we don't want to go that way. I don't think we want to go that way. I think it's scary. I think it's worrying. I think it's a really bad idea. So it's really, I have to tell you, it really does get to me when someone starts to talk about something that we have effectively paid in right up to now, all our working lives, whoever you are, whether you're retired or still at work, you're paid in to pay towards the NHS. And what's happened is that the government have cut your taxes and they've cut the services that you get as well. So let's be honest, I think that's disgusting. We'll just have a little look. There we go, at the actual, if I can work out how to do it. Yeah. There we go. We'll just go to that. Excuse me if I'm okay. So what we're looking at there is the actual petition. And you can see in a couple of days, it's got up to about 60,000 out of 100,000 people that the current target is. And to be honest with you, I think that really, really, really does need to be the big thing. Oops, that's just... does not have any kind of, I don't know what you say, backing, but I think that every one of us, if we can, should maybe go and sign up to that and say, let's try and get a bit more realism. If you have a few 100,000 people sign a petition, it does make an impression on the politicians because it worries them a bit. And that, I think, is what we ought to try and do. Okay, so where are we going next? One of the things that we do on the Old Geezer Show is that I have a little stroll around and I have a look at my locality. If you haven't seen one of these are little local features that I make, and I make them just because they're nice and interesting. If you see them pop up on one of your feeds, have a look because you might enjoy it. There you go. This is one I filmed the other day down at the seafront at Felixstowe. I think it's gorgeous down there, even on a really rough and kind of vile day like this. And to be honest with you, I really enjoyed every moment of it, that walk along the seafront. And if you would like to join me for one of those, I have to tell you that I do them as often as I can. Because it's a worthwhile thing to do. It's an enjoyable thing to do. And I think it's a worthwhile thing to do. And if you'd like to join me on one of those, then there you go. I'm up. The feeds are up. every time I go down, I try and do a live. Sometimes I have to do it recorded. If you'd like to join me, I'd love to see you on one of those strolls. Okay, where are we going to next? Well, we're going to talk about sex. I love it. Here we go. So let's start a conversation, sex in later life. One of the things that I've done a little bit over the last 3 or 4 days is to research the commentaries and the views and the conversations that come and go about sex and older people. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because once we get to be, I think once you get to 50, maybe 45, 50, once you get to that age, your children start looking at you when you make a suggestion to your other half. They look at you and go, ooh, because older people aren't supposed to do it. The reality, I think, is that older people really quite like it. And I think it's quite important for us oldies to have a chat about it. And the thing I'm thinking about is this, which is more later life, sex in later life, where you're talking about really people enjoying an active sex life when they're older. And if you want to know more about this, I recommend that you look at Age UK. We've talked to a number of people about it, and I think Age UK have got some very good comments and stuff about it. And I would like to, I think I'd like to recommend this to you. I'll give you the actual links to it in a moment again. You can read this and see what you think. I'd love you to get back to me and tell me what you think about this. If you are a person of 60, 70, 80, and you still have an active sex life, tell us, because the world needs to know that life doesn't end at the age of 65 or something like that. You can continue, and I think you should continue in reality, don't you? What do you think? Let me know. I would love to hear from you, because from my point of view, the more stuff like this we have, the bigger the conversation can be. We want to actually encourage people to talk about the way that older people live in real life, not in the fantasy land where we kind of get to 65 and are immediately written off, because we ain't. There we go. Okay, let's just go back to that. Oh, I see. I didn't do what I thought I'd done. I thought I'd actually included a set of links, but the set of links, let's get rid of that. The set of links that we have on this, on those 2 articles, or on 2 articles from the from Age UK, the links on those are actually on the comments or on the description of this video, so you can look them up, have a look, have a read, see what you think. Let me know what you think, because I would actually love to hear from you, and I'd like to see what you have to say. Okay, let's now go back to where I was. There we go. And I just want to remind you of this one, because this one is important to me. I would like to hear from you. Whatever your views on anything relative to older people, doesn't matter what it is, just tell me what you think. And if you want to think about one of the topics that we've dealt with in the past, then let me know about that. And let me give you a reminder. I'm going to do this quite frequently, I think, in the show. Let me give you a reminder of something we did last week. We went to a demonstration in London. I went up and filmed a little bit of it because I thought it was interesting. Have a look at this. If you haven't seen it, you can find it in the backlog of stuff either on Facebook or on YouTube. Have a look. See what you think.
For many of the United Kingdom's older people, winter can be a frightening time. 2.1 million older people in the UK live in poverty, and the current cost of living crisis is making their situation even worse. Some are simply having to decide whether to eat or turn on the heating, and the effects of either decision can lead to a cold or hunger-induced illness and death.
And there you have it. That's scary, isn't it? We made quite a bit of footage about that, and that's been seen very extensively. We've also discovered that our Instagram feed and TikTok feeds on that have gone fairly busy, really. People have been interested to see what's happening. And I think this is the kind of news that happens out there that doesn't get reported. We are aiming here on the Old Geezers Show to report it, and I hope that you can keep with us and keep watching what we make. Give us a like, give us a love, give us a subscribe if you're on Facebook, or you can also, of course, follow us on you can follow us on Facebook, or you can subscribe on YouTube, and I'll be delighted to have those subscriptions, etc. So don't worry about it. Give us a like or a love, and look out for our next show, which I hope not to run out of steam at the end of. Okay, I'm Chris. This is the Old Geezers Show, and I'm going to finish off by just saying thank you very much indeed for watching the show. I've enjoyed doing it, and I hope you've enjoyed watching it. Okay, see you soon.